What is good, you guys? This is Steven with All Talk On, and as you guys can see, I got a new little intro I just put together. I decided to get myself Adobe After Effects as well as Sony Vegas for some extra video editing. I will say this, that's one of the main reasons I'm not putting out as many videos. I've been trying to learn a little bit about these new recording softwares, I don't want to put out complete crap, and I haven't really had too much time to do some recording between that and other things in my life going on. But yeah, so I'm learning how to use this thing a little better, made an intro. But anyways, you guys, we're here today because we have a $500 budget build. I wanted to go with something a little different this time. Instead of the standard Pentium G, which is always an awesome option, or an FX 8320 or 8320, I'm sorry, an FX 6300, which would be in this build at the same price. Those CPUs are awesome, especially the Pentium G when you overclock them. The FX 6300 is very, very good, but two cores on it are not strong by themselves. Like if you're using something that only requires two cores to play the game, or one core to use the application you're running, it will lag behind in performance compared to a Pentium G with only two cores. Now, this is basically something where someone doesn't want to do any overclocking. They're just looking for something, and then of course it's going to have expandability for the future. For once again, for more things, if you don't want to overclock, AMD is one of those things that you'll definitely want to overclock. If you get yourself an FX series processor, you're going to want to do some overclocking to push a little bit out of that CPU to give your single core, your single threads a little bit of an oomph, because they honestly aren't that strong on their own. But of course, when you have multiple of them and in video editing and stuff, like me, I have an 8320, and I do use that. And when I'm video editing and stuff, all 8 of those cores are running, along with like 75% of 16 gigs of RAM, and as well as my video cards all included in that stuff. But basically, this was something more for the simple gamer. This is basically my little brother's system without having to overclock it. Honestly, I was maxing out Crysis 3. I have a video out. I was maxing out Crysis 3 at 30 frames per second with dips to about 10 to 20 depending on what was going on, which are some pretty heavy dips, but it was not happening frequently. And honestly, Crysis 3, you shouldn't be running at maxed out settings on this system. So that was just a test run, so I guarantee you can get way better frame rates if you just lower a handful of settings instead of trying to max them out like I did. So anyways, we're going to jump right into this. So this is what I mean by different. Today we're going with the Intel Core i3-4150. This is an awesome, really powerful dual-core processor, believe it or not. It's got a 3.5 gigahertz speed, and it's got hyperthreading, which is basically what allows it to be on par, if not a little bit better than the Pentium G when it is overclocked. If the Pentium G isn't overclocked, this thing is a lot better than it. But if you overclock a Pentium G, it surprisingly can keep up with this processor, and they both are on the LGA 1150 socket. This i3 is just more for the person who doesn't want the hassle of overclocking a FX 6300 or overclocking a Pentium G just to get that mid-range gaming performance that they want. This is just, you can buy this and just play it as it is. You don't need to, not to mention it is upgradable to an i5 or i7 in the future. Once again, really nice to have the same socket for that. Or you could switch this out and throw in the Pentium G if you aren't, if you don't mind overclocking and are comfortable with doing it. But for the most part, this is just an outstanding processor with hyperthreading. Like I said, on the Pentium G, I was maxing out Crysis 3, no problem. Like I said, 30 frames per second to some people might be okay. To me, it's not really okay, but some people wouldn't mind doing that. But once again, lower the settings if you don't want to play it at 30 frames per second. But anyways, you guys, Intel Core i3 is a great beginner processor. Definitely will handle any game out there. Of course, you're not going to be maxing out all the settings. It will handle some light video editing, believe it or not, with the hyperthreading on those two cores. Intel's got some really powerful stuff in their architecture. So this will definitely handle some light video editing, nothing extreme. Obviously, it's not going to be the 6-core processor or the 8-core processor from AMD, or it's not going to be a hyper-threaded i7, but it's definitely somewhere to begin, somewhere to start. Next, we have the motherboard, which is the ASRock H81 HDS. Now, we're not looking at overclocking, so this is just your standard ASRock motherboard. I'm pretty sure you can overclock on this if you wanted to. As far as how far you could push it, I couldn't really say, but I mainly picked it because of how cheap it was. We're looking at a price of $49.99 from Microcenter, so it's not a bad price. It has max memory up to 16 gigs at 1600 megahertz. So overall, decent motherboard, 2 SATA 3s and 2 SATA 6 ports, so more than enough for a micro ATX motherboard, as well as it has USB 3.0 headers. And yeah, so that's the motherboard. Next we have the RAM, which right now was on sale for $62.99, which is the original G-Skill Ripjaw series. DDR3 of 1600 and a cast latency of 9. It's overall just decent looking RAM. G-Skill's always something good to go with. G-Skill, if you guys don't know, they do have lifetime warranty on their RAM. Believe it or not, these things are good for life. Once you register it and all that good stuff or whatever, you could tell them that, you know, just whatever happens, spill water on it, just don't tell them you spilled water on it and they'll send you a new set. Doesn't matter. It's lifetime warranty. Just tell them it stopped working. So anyways, you guys, overall just 8 gigs, 2x4. If you do plan on upgrading to an i7, maybe for video editing, or if you want to upgrade to an i5 for better gaming and you want 16 gigs of RAM for that for some reason, you could definitely just get one 8 gigabyte stick instead of 2x4, but I like the dual channel memory, and not that many people need 16 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, honestly, I video edited a lot with only 8 gigs and it was fine. It is better to have 16, but it was fine when it was 8. So anyways, this is $62.99 from Newegg, and that's the main reason I chose it, because of how cheap it was. Next, we have our hard drive. It's a standard Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM, 64 megs of cache, SATA 6 gigabit per second, which is SATA 3 if you guys don't know that, and it's 1 terabyte of space, and this is just more than enough to keep all your games on it. We're looking at a price of about $55, $54 in free shipping from Newegg, which is where I would go. SuperBiz has it for $49.99, and Directron has it for $53.99. With free shipping. Actually, Direction's not bad too, but I like Newegg just because I like to get everything through Newegg. That way, when I have a non-working part and or return, I just know exactly who I bought it from. I don't have to go searching around my email through purchase parts and stuff like that. Next, we have the powerhouse for this build, and this graphics card is just a monster. It is the R9 270X by Power Color. It is their Devil Edition with a core clock of 1150 megahertz and an boost clock to 1180, I believe. This thing is a monster. I personally have this graphics card in my little brother's PC. This was the graphics card I was maxing out Crysis 3 on, along with the Pentium G, and for $168 from SuperBiz, not a bad price. This thing, like I said, this thing is a beast. I do not know how it only has 4.3 stars, because this is definitely one of the cheaper 270Xs, and by far, I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably one of the best performing as well. It always stays cool, always stays quiet with the tri-fan cooling solution, and has one of the highest overclocks that comes standard on a 270X. I mean, Sapphire has their Tri-X cooling Toxic Edition 270X, and it's not overclocked this high. So definitely a monster of a graphics card for well under $200. It's an awesome card. Like I said, I speak from actual experience and me actually paying for it for my brother's Christmas present, and then actually bench testing it and stress testing it and gaming on it, and I know from personal experience it's a great card for the money. Definitely the sweet spot for the budget to performance right here. Next we have a case. I went with a little bit more pricey case because I wanted to have it, I want it more aesthetically pleasing than the normal cheapest case I could find. So we're looking at $36.99 from SuperBiz. If you're willing to pay a few extra dollars, it's free shipping from Newegg for $42.99. This is the Raid Max, I forgot the name of it, Vortex. And overall it's just a decent looking case. It's got a lot of ventilation, which is one of the main reasons I chose it. Very open, cool case. It's got some decent wire management space behind it, as well as it just supports all the major things you're going to need. It won't be the greatest case. You're looking at a case under $40. Definitely won't be the best case in the world. Another case I would recommend is the Deepcool Tesseract SW. Make sure you get the SW. But overall, this one's got a nice case window. There's no holes in it for fans, and honestly, I like that look better. It pleases me. It looks nicer and cleaner. But overall, an awesome case for only $36.99. It'll get the job done. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it'll get the job done. And of course, it's got USB 3.0, as well as ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX motherboards are supported with it, so you can use any size motherboard you want. So in the future, if you wanted to upgrade to a full-size ATX motherboard, it is totally possible. Last but not least, we have our power supply, which is a 500 watt, 80 plus efficient EVGA power supply, non-modular, because modular is a bit expensive to stick in there, and we're looking at $39.99 with free shipping from Newegg, and there is a $15 what is that, mail-in rebate. Not going to count it in the price, but it's there, and it definitely should take advantage of it. But overall, I own this power supply personally too. I have not had an issue with it. I've maxed out my brother's system several times, left it for hours running Furmark and stuff like that, and never had an issue with it. If you guys want to see roughly the performance you'll get out of this computer, watch the videos on my little brother's computer build, which is codenamed Devil's Den, or watch Pentium G versus Crysis 3 video that I have out there. That's basically showing you roughly the performance you're going to get out of this PC. You might get a little bit better because you are buying a processor that's about $50 more, but for the most part, that is the type of performance you will be seeing out of that. Like I said, go check out the video. It's codenamed Devil's Den is the review where I do a bunch of benchmarks. There's me maxing it out on Crysis 3. Then there's the actual build of the computer if you guys want to see all of that good stuff and see what the I also do have a unboxing of the Power Color Devil. If you guys want to look at that, it's labeled under Power Color Turbo Duo ? Because that's what I originally had ordered, and they sent me the Devil instead. But if you guys want to see the Power Color Devil, what it looks like, the graphics card, go look up my videos under reviews. Anyways, you guys, that is our build. We're looking at a price tag of $515. Went a little bit over, but you know, with the Intel Core i3 being at $110, and then I wanted to pair that with a good graphics card because I know that it can handle more than a 260X. I know it can handle more than a 750 Ti, though that's not a bad place to pair the systems up. I know it can handle a 270X because, like I said, I have this graphics card and I know that it can handle it. Anyways, you guys, that's my $515 build, and stay tuned for more in the future. Subscribe if you haven't. Finally got to 50 subscribers. Woot woot. I might be having to do a giveaway or something soon. I just need a little bit more love, a little bit more subscriptions, and then once I feel like there's enough people to actually participate in a giveaway, I'll actually do it, because honestly I don't want to do a giveaway. Well, I want to right now, but I feel like there'd be like 5 people that actually try to win, and I mean, that's not fun. I want at least 25, 30 people to try to enter to win whatever I am giving away. So you guys keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting, and yeah, get ready for some free stuff. Anyways, this is Steven with All Talk On, and I'll catch you guys later.